The year is 1943. The lights beam on the baseball field. The last batter at the plate has struck out. With 3 outs, the final inning has ended. It's over. The Racine Bells have officially won the first championship in the league, while the Kenosha Comets hang their heads due to their third defeat in the tournament. Crowds of people join the Bells in their screams and chants. The bleachers are packed tight with people of all ages hugging each other. This was an enormous leap for women's equality. It was a shining moment that proved that the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League's birth from the darkness of World War II would be a triumph for women's equality, both on and off the field. It's hard to believe that this marvelous scene all started due to the tragedy of World War II. In 1941, Pearl Harbor was bombed by Japan, sending American soldiers into the midst of World War II. With 140 million American men off to war, there was no men to take care of the jobs at home, such as factory working. This was the introduction of women into the workforce. Many women saw this as an opportunity to support their country. They covered jobs in markets, factories, and other positions in the workforce. However, there were some positions that were left unfilled. One of these positions was athletes. Owners of leagues soon realized that they did not have enough money to maintain baseball stadiums without the income from games. This is when Philip K. Wrigley rushed to his ideas when realizing that the end of Major League Baseball would be his demise. Wrigley suggested that he run an all-women's baseball team in order to bring enough people to the stadiums to keep them in working function. Soon after, Wrigley began recruiting scouts that would search the Midwest states for girls who played baseball. These scouts would go into small towns and search for girls they found fitting. There were several requirements these scouts would look for, one of the most important being that the girl had to be capable of playing 2 positions. From this scouting, roughly 200 women were selected and invited for tryouts. Tryouts for these girls were tough. During this week, girls would be doing their very best to prove they belonged on the team. By the end of the first week, 4 lists remained of the girls who would be the first to play in the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League, which is now known as the AAGPBL. The hard work did not stop at tryouts for these girls. If they weren't playing a game, they were practicing to be the best. In order to be on this league, the girls had to be capable of doing much more than play ball. One of the big responsibilities of these girls was charm school. Every girl was forced to go to charm school in order to learn how to be a proper lady for the time. This school was the foundation for the rules of the AAGPBL. These rules included the refusal of pants in public and the need for a female mentor whenever girls went out. There was also to be no smoking or drinking. Along with these, the women were expected to carry a bag with everything they needed for beauty, such as red lipstick. Failure to follow these instructions would lead to major fees and even expulsion from the league. The makeup was not the only requirement to be in the league. One of the most outrageous requirements was the uniform. The uniforms for this league consisted of blouses that were tucked into knee-length skirts. It was prohibited to be seen in pants. Though these dresses may have seemed cute, they made the girls prone to injury, and it wasn't uncommon that girls would come back with road rash and impressive welts. Despite the unfair requirements for women players, every girl played like the original boys did. As the first season went on, the AAGPBL started to attract a crowd. This following started out very harsh and rude. However, the girls seemed to warm people's hearts. By the championship of their first season, the stadiums were full of adoring fans. After the success of the first season, other states started making teams. This allowed the AAGPBL to be noticed for the first time on the other side of the country, and led to different groups around the nation bringing women together to play baseball. With such success, no one thought these girls would ever stop growing into all-stars. Until 1952. This year started the slow decline of women's baseball. With men back from the war, it was hard for women to keep the spotlight. More attention was drawn to returning professional ball players in the media. The teams in the AAGPBL slowly began to fade until only 5 remained in their last season. The year 1954 concluded the great reign of the AAGPBL in America. Though one may find the ending of the AAGPBL a tragedy, many triumphant outcomes blossomed because of the league. One of these was Title IX. Title IX was a document that stated that whether sports, education, or any other extracurricular activity, men were required to have equal opportunity to women. This document would never have been possible without the women of the AAGPBL, proving that they can play just as well as the men before them. Another triumph that derived from the AAGPBL is the growth of leagues and sports for young girls. The players of the AAGPBL convinced many schools of a woman's worth. With this and Title IX, women's sports in schools across the country grew. Furthermore, women from the AAGPBL would vacation in Mexico. While there, they would embrace new female athletes from smaller leagues by giving them tips and watching them play. As time went on, the AAGPBL began to be forgotten. It seemed that their impact was tragically fading, until November 5, 1988, when Ted Spencer opened the Women in Baseball Museum. Spencer confessed that not even he had heard of the league until he began making the museum. With this, the AAGPBL regathered their fame. The popularity of the league's original story continued on July 1, 1992, when the movie A League of Their Own was released. This movie revealed the lives of the girls on the league and the mixture of feedback they received. This movie brought new followers to the AAGPBL fanbase to support the women, and is still considered a cult classic to this day. In conclusion, the AAGPBL was an evolutionary league that made great strides towards gender equality. They gave girls within the league a higher education and a respect that was never given to women before. Furthermore, it gave girls in the newer generations hope for change and a deal of respect. The world would never be the same without the brave women of the All-Americans Girls Professional Baseball League.
Take me out to the bar.